Elikem, welcome to An Evening With.
Thank you.
It didn't come naturally for you to actually join the family business, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, and why was that?
It had existed for so long that everyone had been impacted in some way by the hospital, and my father's legacy and then my mum's legacy. So in growing up, everyone expected that I would actually manage the hospital. And so for me, it was all about what was I going to do for myself and how would that marry with the organization. It was not a pressure from my parents to do this work.
For you, the board had to be more effective, and then you even had a business coach at some point. Tell us about that process, and why did you feel that all of those things were, were necessary?
Once I knew I was going to be moving back, that challenge of, okay, well, I don't want this organization to fail, was actually a very real driver. Apart from my actual purpose and mission, my mission was to see healthcare transformed. One of the risks that would be big was that we were a family business. Statistics show that most family businesses by second and third generation fail, and that's the reality. But also the second risk was that I was young. So even though I had trained as a doctor, even though I knew what good looked like in a sense, we needed to have a board to manage the risk of my youth or my inexperience. So the focus on a good, efficient, independent board was key.
But I mean, how important is that do you think in running a business successfully, being accountable?
But finding a balance to realize that the decisions that you make have an impact on other people is probably where accountability lies, and it's important to find the balance in that.
Even at your desk, there's a picture of your dad that doesn't face you, but it faces the person that's in your office, to remind them that we're all accountable to this great visionary. Tell us about that whole process.
It's extremely hard when you're coming into a business that has been running for 45 years. So I give a lot of honor and respect to my father and my mum, and even my sister, all of whom were working towards the vision. There has to be some sense of transition that is not disruptive, and being relevant requires us to adapt. You can't do it alone, that's the reality, and there are times when you feel like you're alone. I don't think any business owner or any person who's been in any position of authority has never felt that sense of solitude or it being quite lonely. If you're not healthy emotionally, mentally, physically, you can't do the job, no matter how great the strategy is, no matter how good the plans are. My wife, I owe her a lot because I don't think she would say it, but she's in the background, but everything I'm doing and the sanity I come to work with is really reflective of what's happening at home. And so I just need to say that if you need that support network, it could be friends, it could be church, it could be whichever community is around you. But I think if as a leader you don't have that, it's kind of like the noose around your neck.
When you said that you had reached out to PwC in SA and for them to support you guys in family governance, this demonstrates your commitment to continuous improvement. So how do you keep the business in the family and the family in the business?
All of us were really impacted by my father's vision. It's a business that needs to survive beyond us. That perspective, that long-term generational thinking requires us to do it well. So I think that's where PwC having that office in South Africa, because I think around the world it's extremely expensive to find someone who's very good, because we were also at that position of growing the business. But it was a decision based on the long term, that if we don't do it, I have a child, my sister in Australia has grandchildren, and they've never been to Ghana. So if we don't do this now, it will affect the business in the long term.
So I think you've completely fed me, nourished me. So thank you. Seriously, this is not how I normally end an interview, but I'm just sort of like, I'm lost for words. So we'll ask more questions of the dinner table. Thank you.
Thank you.